smoking still, but now she only does light. She's swinging her arms, she's like a satellite. I'm taking the blows, I always said that I did. I'm singing along, cause I'm the satellite kid. kicking in, feeling it kicking in, feeling it, feeling it.
Hello, legends, and welcome to Zwifty Chat. Hello, good evening, and welcome, legends, to episode 5 of Zwifty Chat. I bring you the man, the myth, the legend, the new king of recons, John Rice the Third. How you doing, John?
Good. How are you doing, Rob?
Spot on. Thanks for joining, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. First podcast, so hopefully we don't mess it up too bad.
Oh, well, you're looking magnificent. I do like your kit there. What you got? Your Zedson? Is it? Oh no, Santa Cruz.
Yeah, you get. So the shirt is Santa Cruz. I don't know why, but my webcam doesn't like dark colors when I wear it.
Oh,
so
really?
I have my big lantern light here,
Right.
and I had a black hoodie on, and my face was just completely blown out. I looked like the sun.
My face looks red. I've got a new light today. I've got one of those circular lights.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like a beauty light or something like that. It feels really vain.
Oh, one of the ring lights where
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's just the light does not, or the webcam did not like my black hoodie, so had to change.
Do you know, I think I actually put a filter on my own face as well to make myself look more tanned. Oh no, I've gone back to just me. Oh no, what's going on? Oh no, I didn't want that. I'm just going to have a look if I can remove this filter on me, actually, because I think I have made myself... No, yeah, I'm going to remove this colour correction, because I look... Oh, there you go, that's my natural colour. Yeah, there we go. Pasty white Englishman.
You've been in the Oval for 5 days.
Yeah, that's better. There you go. My ancestors didn't see the sun for like 10,000 years, I think. And Ben Pitt, how the bloody hell are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. I'm already amused by you, Rob.
Oh, really? I'm here to amuse you, are I?
Yes, this is why I join in. And chats, everyone's joining in. So George, Dave, Darren. I'm sorry if I mispronounced this. Basbury, Casual Creations, Clint. Oh, and Sean. I missed Sean as well.
Oh.
How's everyone?
Oh, I forgot to look at I forgot all about the chat. Last week I was all about the chat because I was on my own. I was like, I rely on the chat. I need you to keep the show going. This week I've just completely forgotten about them. I've got guests now. I don't need you, chatty people. But welcome. Thank you for joining. What was I going to say? I have got some news, and I'm sorry, I know I've got guests, but I'm going to announce my own news. This week, my team, Kaboom Cycling Madness, got their first win in ZRL on a bloody hard course as well, and I think it was because I didn't join. I said I sat it out. Like, I don't want to do this. It's too hard and I'm too knackered. I'm not going to do it. And they won without me. So well done.
Taking a win in the ZRL series, like, it's crazy. I could not. Last year, Z-Sun, definitely, we had a fight for first, but we couldn't do it. We couldn't peak that top 5 people. So congrats to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was the best way to win as well. In that everyone, because it was a scratch race, it's all about packing out the top half, and I think everyone got in the top half. Like we didn't win. One guy came third, obviously awesome. But yeah, it was just like packing out the top 20, and there were some monster teams in there. It's like a B1 race, and it was I don't know if you've heard of them, but Dirty Behemoths. They're huge guys, and the top HCT team were in there as well, who've just been dominating the first 2 races completely. And yeah, we just won because I set it up.
Yeah.
I'm kind of a fraud right now. I do the recons, but I haven't been riding because I got upgraded to B. So I'm just like tail between my legs. I'm like, well, I'm just a fraud.
Yeah, well, all 3 of us haven't ridden ZRL. Let's talk about ZRL.
Yeah, I did do the first 2, but I was just after the community racing festival where I did each one of them. It was at the end of that, and I was just like, I'm so exhausted with Zwift. I'm so not in the mood for engaging with WTRL. I'm just done.
Yeah. And that's not the course as well to have bad legs, because if you get drops early on, it's a long haul to the finish.
Yeah, I mean there's a big climb, like 3 kilometers in as well. It's not just the one in the middle, and that's a long, lonely ride if you're not feeling it.
I was watching the Oceania time slot with Mark Gates in the ACAT Division 1, and I was like, I remember that climb, and I absolutely hate that. And you always forget about that glass section because you never ride it in other courses, but it's a killer.
Yeah, it's just, I don't like all that rolly glass stuff. It's just horrible, isn't it?
I feel like every time I see the glass, I know what's about to happen. I constantly, like, while setting up for recons, the worlds just are. I'm like, oh, I don't like this world. And then I'm like thinking, why don't I like this world? And it's because there's so many hills and climbs. I was like, I like Tempest Fugit. It's flat. That is about it.
But it's your state, indeed. That's to blame for that. Although it is not. Glass roads aren't really there, are they?
No.
You're not used to ride those.
It's a little different because it's other you're riding around Central Park, not getting yelled at by some pedestrian eating a hot dog, and like I made a joke about rats, but like they're everywhere in New York City. Like
really,
I'm from New York. So, but I'm not from the city. So, like, I have this relationship with it where my fiance loves New York City. She's like, oh, I would never want to live there, but I have friends that live there. It's a cool place. And I'm like, I would rather die than go to New York City. Like, seriously.
I've never been, but one of the things I remember growing up is the fact that the garbage is at the side of the road and they'll come and pick up the garbage. But, like, I'm not sure where it is where you live, but most cities you have proper garbage places and they'll collect it. But when I've watched movies in New York, the garbage bins are literally on the side of the road, which is where all the rats obviously are attracted to.
Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure if it's the same in New York City. It might be a little different because of the population and how many people are there and how much trash. But for me, it's every Tuesday night, I put out the trash bin outside and they come at like 3 in the morning. They take it and then we just put it in the back of the house.
Yeah, so I think from what I remember from the movies, I don't probably change now, but the trash was always just out on the street in New York, in the main city centre anyway.
I would love to get to the bottom of the trash collection facilities in New York, but we must talk about cycling also.
I thought we were going to get on the Friends.
Tangent we went off there. How did you get into Zwift, John? And is it John Rice III? Is that how you say it? Is it John Rice III?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, so, that's so cool.
Super creative names. We had John, and then John, and then John. So,
right. But at least you get that. Okay, you get a Roman numeral. I haven't got a Roman numeral. I want a Roman numeral.
Roman numeral. It's unique. There's not a lot of people with it, so I feel special in a way, and it also just rolls off the tongue.
Are you going to go for the IV if you spawn a boy?
It's definitely in there. It's a conversation that needs to be had, but I imagine yes.
Yeah.
Maybe. Cool. But for Zwift, like Zwift was not even on my radar. Like I got into cycling right after COVID. Like I feel like so many more people did.
Well, after COVID or during COVID?
After COVID. During COVID. Right. So I was overweight in high school and I got into the gym, started working out and everything. And then the gym's closed for COVID. And my best friend and I were like, all right, let's start running. I hated it. Running, I don't know if either of you run, but it's...
Used to.
Like, it's...
bad for you. Everyone just gets injured whenever that I know.
I've got no cushioning in my knee now. I can see it. I got an MRI of it and it's gone. I've got zero. Because of bloody running.
So
Darren's going to get so cranky in the chat.
Is Darren a runner?
Yeah, a big runner.
It's... If you can do it, good for you. But for me, it wasn't for me. And
it's especially not good if you're
cycling.
overweight, though. And I tried to do it,
So I ended up getting into cycling, and I worked for a local bike shop for 6 months or so. Oh. And then I found Zwift just randomly. I think I was in a TikTok. I was on TikTok scrolling, and Danny Enzo pops up. And if you know who he is a huge, like, just Zwift cyclist. And I was like, this seems like a ton of fun. It's cycling. It's like a video game. Why wouldn't I do it? So late September of 2022, I bought these Wahoo sensors because I thought that was my answer to get into Zwift. Update, they don't read power. So like I'm spinning as hard as I can on this dumb trainer and I'm going like 70 watts. And I'm like, I suck. I might be the worst cyclist in the world. Like everyone's flying by me on the roads, super discouraged. And then I swear the next day, I had it for one day, didn't go well. I bought a used kicker snap on Facebook Marketplace the next day to get in. And then from there, it kind of just like the love grew.
Is that a wheel on or not?
Yes, yeah. It was a wheel on trainer, which I did have some issues. That's why I actually switched from the wheel on to the Zwift Hub when the Zwift Hub came out. Just because it was the entry level option and it was the only cheap option for a wheel off trainer.
Yeah, well, I think, wheel on seemed, people, when Zwift first started, virtually everyone was on wheel on, weren't they? I think, everyone had it and no one thought it was a problem until...
Not me. I went and bought a second-hand kicker. I was like, I'm not getting a bloody wheel on. Give me a second-hand one.
Yeah, but when did you get on, Ben?
Trying to remember. When I broke my face, probably 2018. So.
Yeah, so pretty early, but like right at the start, smart trainers weren't that.
Well, the kicker one came out in 2014, was it? Okay. But that was the top of the line one back then. But I got the kicker one when the kicker 4 was released, 2018 model. Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much a typical story of a lot of people who start Zwift. They start off with like, what can I get to start Zwift? And they get the cheapest thing, and then they end up upgrading until eventually they figure out that you do need a wheel on trainer. A wheel off trainer.
I was having issues on, like, I think it was the second Zwift Racing League race I ever did was on 2015 Richmond. And that spot where it goes to like 20%, the wheel resistance would pop my wheel because it was just so much. So like all of a sudden I'd have a flat and I'm like trying to spin again. Nothing's happening. So I was just sick of it. I think it happened 3 times. I had to get new tubes for my tires. And
I wonder if you were one of my rides, because I remember people were typing, I've got a flat tire. I'm like, what do you mean you got a flat tire?
There's a chance it was
You've got a tire.
I've
had a flat tire on my front tire for about 9 months now. I have flat tire for 9 months.
I got the same thing. It's like bouncy.
Yeah. Thinking about it now, it was probably so stupid. People were probably in my race like, you have a flat tire on Zwift.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so you joined. So you eventually got the. Was it the Zwifter one that sparked more interest, or was it you graduate? It was fine, and then you just progressed onto the. Sorry, I'll let you answer the question rather than trying to answer it yourself. How did you
No,
progress from
no,
there?
you're good. So yeah, so I realized it was like I love this. It's with my schedule, it's easier to go home from work at 5:30, hop on a trainer for an hour, then drive 20 minutes to the gym, work out for an hour, and then come back home. For both my fiance that I just moved in with into an apartment with a dog, so like time was a lot of things, and I enjoyed Zwift once I started doing it, and then. Like I said, those flats were brutal. So it quickly upgraded to the Zwift hub, and just I still have it actually. It's where is it? There.
I always get the wrong shoulder whenever I'm trying to. I'm looking at myself.
Yeah.
What
I always tell
Yeah.
myself I need to mirror my camera, but then you can't read anything in the background, so it's there's give or take for it.
Yeah. And then I tell myself it's always opposite to what you think. So you do that, and then actually it's the other way around again because
You second guess yourself. Yeah. Okay, no, that's the wrong. Oh no, see, I did it again. I thought I was pointing over that shoulder.
Yeah, so yeah, I ended up loving the Zwift hub, and I upgraded to a Trekomanda that year as well. So there was a lot of new cycling stuff in my life, and haven't stopped.
So were you ever a cyclist outdoors, or was Zwift really the
Yes.
first introduction you've had?
So my dad had this old like 1980s mountain bike that I would just ride around my area at home during COVID. And then I bought a $300 Fuji Newest. I think 2006 it came out, 2007 maybe. And this lady kind of like pimped it out. Like there were carbon forks on it. It's in my basement right now. And I went downstairs yesterday to do laundry, and like, she put carbon forks on this bike. Like, what was this lady doing? And it was too small for me. It's a 50, I think now. I ride 56. So like,
Oh, that sounds
no
really
idea
small.
about cycling.
You'd be like
Yeah.
this. How tall are you?
I'm 5'11", so
I'm 5'11". Bloody hell, I think
it's-
mine's a 54. No, I feel a bit hunched over.
yeah, so it was definitely interesting getting into cycling at that point because I had no idea what I was doing.
Well, that's the thing.
And like,
When I bought mine, I was like, "Oh, it's a bike." I just didn't know
Yeah.
anything about bikes. Like, a bike's a bike. you know?
I remember a conversation I had with her when I met her first was she asked me, was like, "Oh, do you care what size it is?" I was like, "It's a bike." Like, and then
Now
it's like a
people
clown
talk
car.
about, "Oh, you need your seat a half an inch lower." It's like,
Yeah, and like
lost.
with all the upgrades that I'm thinking about now, like Toddy Pagaccia came out with 165 cranks, and like everyone's just like, "All right, got to get the upgraded crank length." I couldn't care less.
They must love him for saying that. Was they the crank, the 165 mil crank people?
Yeah.
So
When's it
when did you get your clip-in pedals, or are you using
Oh.
mountain bike pedals?
So I had flats for quite a while, and then I think a year into riding, I started working at the bike shop, and I got big discounts on stuff. So like Trek gear, we were getting 30% off of what they would sell it to the store. So like I bought top of the line mountain bike shoes and pedals for probably $300 together, and like normally that's like a $500 purchase. Like, so yeah, I originally had mountain bike pedals, and then just about a year or so ago, I switched over to road pedals, which best decision of my life, that's for sure. So much
That's
smoother.
Controversial. A lot of people love their mountain bike pedals.
Really?
Really? Are you a mountain
Yeah.
bike pedal person?
No, I'd use road pedals, but yeah, if you go like GCN and all that stuff, they've got thousands of chat lines of people swearing black and blue about mountain bike pedals. You don't need to use road bike pedals and efficiency and all that crap. But getting back onto your working in the bike shop, I actually got offered a job with my mate in a bike shop, but I turned it down because I knew at the end of the week when I get my paycheck, I'll be handing the paycheck back to my boss because of all the stuff that I'd buy.
There's a lot of things I would buy, and the thing that saved me at that time was I was in college, so I didn't really have anything I needed to buy. So that was one thing, is like I could use the paycheck to just buy shirts, tires, wheels, whatever I wanted. But during the time of COVID, everything was getting sold out in this bike store. Like COVID, everything outside and adventurous was just sold out. So I was a salesperson and I was selling bikes to people based on a picture. Like I would be like, come around here. I'll show you what the bike looks like. I think based on what you're telling me, this is what you should be riding.
Oh, so they weren't allowed to come into the shop and you were just selling them?
No, like they could come in the shop, they could look around, but we had like no bikes in stock.
Oh,
yeah.
And we were selling bikes that were pre-ordered. So I think I sold $50,000 worth of bikes, which doesn't sound like a lot because you could get a $20,000 bike. But most of these are like Trek Verves and Trek Dual Sports were a lot of the ones that are like $800 to $1,000. So, but yeah, I think I sold maybe 4 bikes that were actually in store. Everything else was pre-order, which blows my mind to this day that you would spend so much money on something.
Yeah, I mean, I bought my trainer right at the top of the market, I think, like £800 Elite Diretto, and it was still the best thing I bought because, you know, that year of, you know, COVID lockdowns was just, because we couldn't even cycle more than like a mile away from our home or something like that. So,
oh really?
For
Wow.
a long time. So, yeah, that was like, it was awesome, and it got me into Zwift. I understand, yeah, and I realised that it's better than going outdoors anyway in many respects.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was awesome. Right, well, I tell you what, I was worried we weren't going to have stuff to talk about, but we're actually, you know, really got. I've barely even touched the topics that I wanted to. So you joined ZSUN. I always wanted to join ZSUN because I assumed they were in the same time zone as me, but I just couldn't quite get in contact with them. But they seem an awesome team.
There's a ton of different teams right now, so if anyone is interested, we're always looking for new members.
Don't try and steal me. Don't try and steal me. I've got my own team now.
Or join Rob's team. They even split, guys. So, but yeah, I joined them. I think I saw a Facebook post or something, and I wanted to do competitive racing, and I joined them. They welcomed me with open arms, and ever since I've been with them. And I think what I love most about it is it's more than just I hop on and race with these people. Like it's a community. I've made some friends with it, and also the owner Stuart. He's a coach. I couldn't tell you what level he is, like coach wise, but during both of the last summers, he's given me workout plans to like push myself and see where I can go. And I've gone from D, like high D cat, to now I'm low B, and like it's been outstanding. So
well, if you join my team, I don't even know how bikes work, so I won't be doing that. But you're free to join anyway. But ZSUN sounds pretty awesome. But I saw last week one of my favourite things is you did the Alpe du Zwift in less than an hour. What a triumphant moment that must be.
Yeah, I was very confident going into it that I was gonna get it done the first try. I was like, I've got this. Like I'm fit. Like I got it. And then I think I was 30 minutes of the way up, and I'm like, what if I don't get this? Like I'm gonna have to try this again. And because I just have an addictive personality where like I'll do it until I get it. And then I think I had 8 minutes left. I'm like, this is gonna come down to the wire. Like I thought I was gonna have a few minutes to spare, but it's gonna come down close.
Yeah, it was
and
a close one. When you were approaching the top, I was
seconds.
like, ooh, actually, it's not in the bag.
Because 8% at the top, and your guesstimate time is 30 seconds under. It's like if you slow down, you're done. Like that'll quickly go up. So that was a triumphant. Like that was a really good moment on Zwift.
I'm hesitant to tell the story again, but you probably haven't heard it. But when I did it, it was an obsession of mine. So because I was losing loads of weight, I was obsessing about it for like 3 months. When I heard about it, I was about, I don't know, I was maybe like 86 kilograms or something like that, and I had about, maybe 3.0 power for an hour or something like that. And I heard about it, and you've got to get 3.2. So I was like, ooh, actually, if I drop to 80 kilos and I can up my power to 274 or something like that, I was like, I should be able to do it. So it just became this obsession, a really healthy obsession as well, because I'm similarly addictive. And it was just like, oh yeah, I'm dropping the weight, I'm upping my power, I'm upping my power. And it was just, and then I knew I had it. I knew I had the power. I knew I had the weight. I was just right. On this day, I'm going to do it. And I had a date planned. It was going to be like Father's Day of this year. I was like, I've been planning it 3 months. And I got up there and I had like 2 minutes to spare because I got to the flat bit, and there was 140 meters to go, and my kids came out because it was such a big deal for me. The kids came out to the garage to watch me do it, and so I thought I'd show off and sprint the final bit, and I sprinted and broke my chain and couldn't finish. With 140 meters to go.
I would have got out the drill, just done something. That's
I was pretty upset, and then I did it a couple of days later, and obviously I couldn't invite my kids out again, but I got it done. But it was like 58 minutes or something like that, and it wasn't as fresh. But yeah, that was
wow.
I knew you were live streaming, Rob.
So the main thing that we want to talk about, I tell you what I've got. I tell you what I've got. I think I've just added it. I think it briefly came up on the stream as well when I accidentally added it. But I think it is time for the official handing over of the. It was handed to me from Cy Bradley, and I think it is now time to hand you the crown, the official crown.
Boy.
Of,
I don't know about this.
Oh, you can't see it. You probably can't see it, but
we can see it.
Yeah.
The Recon King, the numbers do not lie. You are the Recon King. So how did you get into Reconing, man?
So I personally love, like I've talked about, I love Zwift. I'm extremely passionate with it, the racing, the community aspect of it. And last season during ZRL, or ZRL, whatever you want to call it.
Oh yeah, that's a big controversial issue. How do you pronounce Z?
Pronunciation in general is a hot topic, which I will talk about very shortly. But I'm
from Australia, so I just don't care.
Yeah,
Right.
version of English.
I just blame it on my stupid American self. Just I can't pronounce it. I'm American. Come on. But no, I would watch Cy Bradley every week for his recon videos, and I remember setting something up. I wrote a script and whatnot for one last season, and then I got to filming it, and I'm like, this, I was at the point of where I'm filming so much stuff and editing so much stuff in my real job that it's just I don't really want to do this. I don't want to take this on, and I hate putting effort into things that don't get viewed, right? So Cy Bradley had it. I knew he had it. That's just what it was. And then I saw he signed with My Wish, and the gears are turning a little bit during the summer. And I'm like, well, if this is the PGA and the Live Tour, golf side, he's not going to be doing the recons. So I think I released my first recon in the fall 3 weeks early, because I was like, okay, maybe he doesn't. I cracked a joke in it. I was like, My Wish has stolen Cy Bradley for us, but who else to pick up the pieces than some random guy who's never done this before?
So you didn't even know that I was doing it? Oh.
I had no idea if anyone was going to do it.
You didn't even know I existed?
No, I'm sorry, Rob. But yeah, I had no clue if my cycling knowledge was Cy Bradley, Danny Enzo, and then maybe some professional cyclist.
That's pretty
that I saw on
about Danny
Netflix.
Enzo, but yeah, do carry on. Yeah.
But now I know you, Rob, the former the former king of the recons, which I still think your recons are really good,
Oh, cheers, man.
and it's I think now round 2 there's 4 different people that are doing it.
I know. Like they've all come out of the bloody woodwork. What the hell is going on?
Well,
I
it's like
yeah.
Marvel, isn't it? Once the king died,
Yeah.
it's just like trying to feel.
I think there's even some. I'm not only have I been deposed in my very brief reign as like no, who's that guy who was like president of America for like 10 days or something? Was he shot or something? Was it Harrison or anyway? I only know it from a Bart Simpson song. But yeah, I had a very brief reign, and then there's like you've come along, and then there's like a whole army of people who's like, oh yeah, send our recons, we'll all get into it. Like,
Yeah,
get lost.
I
Leave us alone for a minute.
I couldn't believe it this round. Like the first round, I was like, okay, there's Rob, who's like obviously picked up where Cy Bradley left off, and like it would be great to get to the king, Rob. And I was like, I'd love to get to the point of like those views and understand cycling better. And then round 2 comes around, and again, you're still ahead. And then I see B or another guy come in, and then a third, and I'm like, and I watch them all because you can always learn something from someone.
Oh, I can't. I can't watch them all. There's so many of them. I can't even watch my best friends anymore. I'm like, there's so many people because I've got this Discord. There's so like millions of. I just can't watch them.
Do you watch your own ones, Rob?
No. Well, I didn't find the last one. I had a 5-minute second.
Yeah,
5 seconds.
yeah. That was. I was like, is this the joke?
Oh God, yeah, that was embarrassing. But I was so sick of it, I couldn't even bother to go back and change it. But anyway, So
so that's so that was my question: is what's the most difficult part of doing these recon videos?
So that when you sent that question over, like my first thought is, okay, it's going to be the hate comments, right? Like the hate comments are just brutal because I've started taking it more seriously. I like doing it and I'm passionate about it. So like people like my New York recon, I was like, save the anvil, 18.1 kilometers in, go down, you're going to have a breakaway and win. Like that's the thing. And then someone just was like, did it after the KOM, worked fine for me. And it was like subtle. It wasn't mean. It was just subtle of like they didn't use it. And I was just like, I've had several people message me on Discord or like my Strava or something, and they're like, thanks for this recon. Like I won because of this. So I think that there was meaningful comments to it. I also was like, come on, like it takes more time to do that than to just not.
I think someone left a comment on yours this week, didn't they, about like it work, and
yeah,
you know, it was just like, oh, that's awesome. You know,
I love
those
comments
are
amazing.
awesome on there. The people.
The hardest thing is actually trying to work out, because you've got such a wide range of abilities that the races are very different. So a DCAT up New York Com is a very different race to an ACAT ride up New York Com.
Yeah. Which is all the next thing that I was thinking of is like the category displacement, right? An A race is completely different to a D race where a single little bump might break up the entire race. Like the A race, everyone's going to just be like, fine.
Not necessarily. I mean, in a way, ACAT is the worst because there's the widest range. You know, if you've got someone who's a consistent 4.4 or whatever, compared to a 6.0, that's even bigger. You know, maybe not the. You know, they're similar in D. So D and A have got the biggest range in a way, but
it's tough. And I don't really think about that. Like that, I think that's one of the issues that I have.
There's so many ways you could do it. You're like, oh no, that's not the toughest hill for me because my power's like, oh okay, you've got great 5-minute power, great. What do you want me to say?
Yeah,
I can't deal with every possible scenario.
And then the last thing that pains me is pronunciation.
Oh.
I am awful at pronouncing anything. So like I have people, I think the first recon I did was the Macquarie Islands, however you want to pronounce it. But someone came into my chat and goes, it's you pronounce this awful or something like that. And
I tell you
then
what,
the
this
next,
is not even a real place. It's not even a real place. It hasn't got a proper pronunciation.
so
How about that?
actually,
How about
this was.
it's not
was
even a
actually-
real place. How can it have a real pronunciation?
And it's funny because the next person that commented under that comment, so like in the thread, goes, the second I heard this, I went to the In the Drops recon. I was like, I'm just catching strays. Like,
Yes, you're right. You're right to correct it, to abandon him from his incorrect pronunciation of a fictional place.
So one of your viewers hates me. At least two of them. So
There's a
You
lot
do
of hate
get that
around,
with-
isn't there?
Yeah, you do get that. People like they become fans of one sort of streamer or whatever, and so they'll go to other streams to sort of bag out those other riders. It's always funny that because it still adds to the algorithm. Like if someone goes in there and writes a comment, then YouTube's like, oh, this is good. People like watching this.
Yeah.
So they,
Do you think? I think it would actually increase views if you pretended to hate each other. She would just like slagging each other off. Our recons.
be like, can you believe this guy? He
right.
thinks
Yeah.
this is.
yeah, just create some drama
Yeah.
and like
Don't
give each
roast
other
the bed.
share notes, and so you can say this is what Rob thinks is the right tactic. That's a lot of crap.
Yeah. We're really gonna turn this into just a two-headed dragon where we're just fighting each other, and then these 8 other recons are gonna pop up and be like,
And then-
so the route actually looks like this instead of focusing on a fight. Like,
Yeah.
here's a real
I've noticed,
recon.
oh, sorry. I've noticed a lot of the others release theirs after hours, so I think they're like, oh, what did they say?
Watching
Yeah.
yours.
And then release afterwards. So maybe
Like-
we should give them a bum steer to start with. Like say, oh, this route is like all downhill, and you don't really have to try very hard.
Yeah.
and then release a real video after they release theirs.
Yeah, like I said before, it's like I watch all of them, and I've started to like. I don't watch all of them anymore. That's for sure. Like the first 2 weeks that I think we got the new people joining in, I was interested to see what they did and like what's different. And it's just they don't have the best information. They don't do the recon ride right. It's too long, or they don't understand the camera dynamics, which I think is hard parts to the recons. Like, I'd love to hear what you think about what your pains are to recons.
Mainly WTRL. I hate the fact that they don't have the like. We've got a points race in 10 days' time. I want to know what those bloody point sections are. For crying out loud, I can probably guess, but I don't want to. And I would take 2 seconds. That decision as to what the segments are is probably already made. And
The one that made me laugh, Rob, was like, this is a power you have. Actually, you might not have this power up. We don't know because it's WTRL. Because the week before, the power up was all random.
Yeah, what was it? Which route was that? Was that?
I think it was the first race or the second race. I don't know. I didn't race the RL. I just remember that I saw that.
He said that we were going to have turf and surf, wasn't it? It was turf and surf. The points race, wasn't it? Turf and surf. He said it was going to be all arrows.
It was supposed to be all arrows, and I guess it was random. And I was like,
Just the classic 3.
okay. And then last week's was just the anvil, and I was very like, the anvil of all power ups. That's the one we're gonna go with, which it worked. It was a good power
I
up for the
kind
race.
of like the obscure power ups for ZRL because it gives it's one of the few advantage that an experienced racer has of. Okay, I know how this one works. Whereas some people are like, what does this do? What does the anvil do? We're like, wait, I'm going to say I'm taking advantage of that. And in the old days, I don't know if you were here for them, but in the old days, the anvil used to work when you were going uphill as well. So some people would use it like, in that New York route, some people would use it into the finish. And they'd be going up that final 8% ramp. And then
I didn't know. So they changed it, so it doesn't work uphill anymore. Because I assumed
so
it
that
just did.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, so when you use it, it disengages when you're going up a hill. But I
think
miss
that's
those days.
stupid.
I used to have so much entertainment. People thought that it like flattened roads. And so people, you'll go through rolling sections, people will hit the air ball. It's like,
Go backwards.
what the hell are you doing? Oh, speaking of drama, the king of drama, don't get drop cycling, saying we should make a WWE out of it.
Oh, he'd be involved. He'd be
Yeah.
like tag teaming.
Some
Yeah,
Limp
he'd
Bizkit
dig the
and-
chair up and get into the cage and start fighting with the chair.
Right. Oh, blimey, look at the time. Right,
Yeah,
I've got loads of
always
things to
goes by.
discuss. Right. Oh, one more thing. On where do you see your future of streaming and stuff? Because
Oh.
actually, sorry, you mentioned Danny Enzo. I didn't realise he's like the biggest guy by a mile, isn't he?
Oh, on TikTok, he's huge. I think it's 63,000 followers on TikTok, which is like, it's TikTok versus YouTube is interesting because YouTube subscribers is like 10,000 is like the TikTok equivalent of like 75,000, I would assume, like around there. But yeah, he took over TikTok the last few years and he streams on it, which you can just get random viewers come into the stream. And I've started streaming on TikTok, and I feel like I have better engagement than YouTube or Twitch. Like, so I don't know. And it's cool to have like 1.5 minute race reviews. Like, I'll do a race, then I'll be like, all right, this was the finish of my race. This is what I was thinking. This is the power up I had. Like, very easy content, but it can be fun, I guess, and get good views.
Yeah, because I've got a separate racing channel now, which hasn't got that many subscribers. But yeah, I could give that a go, couldn't I?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting because you could show up on anyone's feed. I feel like YouTube is so algorithm driven that I would never pop up, like my recon video, your recon video would never pop up on my friend's YouTube channel, like YouTube page.
Right, so is it that recons are better on YouTube because it's for the people who are deliberately there to find that content, but TikTok, you're just like, oh, just anyone can
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think there might be an audience for it on TikTok, but it's so much informational, and like, I think it's 30% of my like external views in my analytics is by searching the exact name of like one of my hashtags.
Yeah, that's one of the things I never really got into recon rides for, because you do make yourself such a small market. So it's a lot of effort for such a very small market.
Oh,
that
it's
you're
so
going to be
much
doing.
effort. I don't know. But I don't know if I even feel comfortable revealing how much I put into it. But how long do you think it takes you, John?
For a recon video?
Yeah.
That's another great question.
I find it embarrassing how much I put into it. I'm embarrassed to say that I would say a minimum 5 hours. Minimum.
5 hours. I feel like mine's probably under that now. Once I understand like what I need to cover, the script's pretty easy. Like, I have a template now that it's like, okay, I'm going to follow this.
And it still take 5 hours.
Yeah, I definitely start off with a script, and then I move on to, I'll mass record a lot of them. So last round, I think when I posted the first one, I think I had 5 of the recons already posted on YouTube, just scheduled. And that was before I learned about that the points are going to be found later on. So like, that was something I had to learn about it. But right now I'm doing week by week. So like, I got to I'm going to ride tonight, but then I'll put the bike back and get the set ready for my recording. But yeah, 3 hours, like editing, I'm going to guess is either your issue or like other people's issues, is because it's so much
Editing,
different than everything.
I barely spend any time on editing now. I'm just like,
Oh, really? Okay.
It's just, what is it that I'm doing? It's like, I don't know, just like hoping that WTRL release the information. So maybe just sitting there refreshing the page, going, please tell us the power-ups. So,
I don't know who it was from Zwift, but they reached out to me last round because of you, I believe. And he was like, your recons are good, and Rob told me about you, and like, here's the notes for the next recon. I was like, this is awesome. Like, this makes life so much easier.
They've just started ignoring me now, though.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
They're like, we want you better than Rob's channel.
Well, I haven't heard anything either, so.
Yeah, it's not that I'm getting the info. But when I got the info, I asked for the info, they told me the info, and I was like, well, it's only fair that John gets it. Now, obviously, I regret it now that you've taken my comment. But, yeah, I thought it was only fair.
Well, are you partnered with Level Velo? I'm going to guess you are.
Yeah, because I had Cy Bradley on our old podcast.
Okay.
He was like, well, I'm leaving now. So he used to use it to
Gotcha.
promote his business, and he gave me this amazing kit. It's just so nice, this kit. I think he only gave me the kit for doing the first season, but it's so nice. I thought, I'll just carry on.
I'm interested. I'm interested about their jerseys. It's something I've seen in. We had like a Zwift race thing in the local bike shop, and a few people had Level Velo kits, and they swear by them.
Well, if you're looking for a Recon partner for the next series, Cy, maybe I might give it up. It's taking too much time. I might give it up. So
yeah.
If you want a free set of bibs, and you're willing to promote that, it is really nice as well. I don't know.
What you need to do, Rob, is John can do like the Recon rod. You can do the Monday like quarterback Recon, like did this Recon ride actually work out in the race, and then you can score it, and then you can cause a drama that way.
Yeah, just like, this was the worst Recon I've ever heard.
Look at this rubbish.
See what happens when I leave.
Right. Okay. Right. People. Other things I wanted to ask were. Oh, I tell you what. Should we move scene? Oh, sorry, I've moved my face out.
Head to the lounge room, are we?
Oh, that's your channel. Casual Creations Junior, is it? Casual Creations Senior. What's it? Casual Creations
Yeah.
Junior.
So I forgot why. So my media platform, I guess you want to call. Because I do video production for like my full-time job.
Oh, do you? I'm up against a pro. Oh, that's not fair.
Yeah. So I ended up rebranding, but everything was under the Casual Creation name. So I felt weird to rebrand again and like lose people in the transfer kind of thing. Like if I change names. Right. So yeah, right now it's just Casual Creation, and I had to be Junior because Casual Creation regular YouTube page was already taken because unless you
got this age weird like a Zwifty Zwifter or something like that.
So
what were you doing before you were doing Zwift with Casual Creations?
Basically nothing. I created the brand as something I wanted to do freelance into for local small businesses, because I was a video editor or video director, I should say, and then promoted to a marketing, like the head of marketing at this company. And at the time I was doing so many things with video and editing and everything. I was like, I want to do this on my own for local small businesses. Like I could make some serious money if I wanted to. And then I started getting busier. I got a new job, and then it kind of stopped. But I do drone work, a lot of like drone work. Yeah.
I bought a drone.
Tons of fun.
I should announce to my subscribers the people who subscribe who gave me money for my birthday. I got my birthday money. I've bought a drone. I bought a camera drone.
They're awesome. Okay, I have the 3 Mini Pro, so it's like, I don't know how different it is from yours, but it's probably very similar. And yeah, I love it. I don't do anything with it cycling right now, but I plan to try and start during the summer.
Really? With cycling?
Yeah.
Like
If it's
getting
just
it
like
for
adding.
you or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that sounds awesome, man.
Actually, I don't have it right here with me, which is weird because I always have my camera stuff like right on my desk. But I have an Insta360 now, which is going to be game changing for next year when I start cycling outside. Like,
Oh, that sounds
for sure.
amazing. I mean, I wouldn't even dream about doing something like that. There's a
I,
housing
I,
estate
used,
being
I
built.
used to have an Insta 360 and then I dropped it in the river.
What were you doing next to a river?
Well, I was on a boat.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It was really good footage until it fell in the water.
Yeah, that sounds really predictable.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I really should have attached a float. That was in hindsight.
And I see Don't Get Dropped says he wants the Neo drone. That thing is like size your hand and you just like flies up and it tracks you. That's really cool. That's something that would be
He must
easy
be making
for.
thousands from YouTube. He must be able to afford that. Come on, man, reinvest it in your channel.
You get the good thing is that one's really tiny, so you can use it while you're doing indoor cycling. So don't get dropped. I'm looking forward to that.
It's
To
just like
the
it's
drone
sovereign
footage.
inside. We're doing a 360. Very
Yeah, you get Matrix view.
Right.
Yeah.
Other things I want to talk about. What's your worst race, John?
Oh, the worst race.
I only said this because you brought it up beforehand. I didn't hear about the story, so I want to hear the story, basically.
Oh, the worst race is an interesting
I thought you had a
one.
pre-prepared idea. Yeah, it doesn't matter. What's your best race? What's your best race?
My best race, I can tell you right offhand, and that's going to be one of my ladder races. I think it was one of the first ones I ever did.
Oh, should we try and bring it up? Should we try and do that? 3 plus 3
Let's
plus
see.
browser. Right. Can you send me the URL? Is that easy or not? Or do you just want to talk about it?
I can just
Yeah, we'll
talk
just talk
about
about
it.
it.
Yeah, it's nothing crazy. So this was actually, I think, one of my first wins on Zwift too. If you have watched any of my recons, I have this like long intro, and at the end of it, I'm like, "Let's smart man."
No, I've watched.
Boy, skip.
So I like at the end of the intro, I'm like, I throw my arm out. I'm like, "Let's go!"
Oh yeah,
And that's from
like
this
that bit,
race because it was my first ever victory, and it was the beginning of the year, and I was like, I want to win one Zwift race this year. That's my goal, and I ended up doing it like 26 days into the year. But anyways, it was a race against one of my friends, Josh, who races on Coalition. And for some reason, I was just like, I'm going to just do a breakaway, like 5 minutes into the race. And it's on the London Loop. So you go up Box Hill. It's tough course. And I just have a 5-second gap for like 5 to 10 seconds until we get to Box Hill. I was like, okay, like now I have to conquer Box Hill without anyone following me. And I remember pushing my absolute heart out. I thought I was going to die in this race, but I push all the way up. I get to the top, and one of my teammates, Lisa, catches me, and it's just us two. And she weighs like, I don't know, 62 kilos or whatever. So I fly down the hill.
Oh,
and
Lisa
then I'm
Hopkins!
like, yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, no, that's not Lisa Hopkins. I'm thinking of Level Velo. I don't know why I was thinking. Sorry, carry on.
No, all good. So I like fly down this hill and end up taking the victory. And it was just one of those moments that I was like, this is my first Zwift win that actually matters. Like, it was awesome. It was the best feeling.
Yeah, my best wins on London, and I also beat Tom Sorensen on Box Hill once. I don't know. I don't know if you've heard of Thomas Sorensen, but he's an elite racer, and I once beat him on. it's not a big joke.
Not a big deal, you know. That's so cool. Actually, I can tell you about my worst race, though.
You don't have to. I thought you just had a pre-prepared story that you wanted to tell.
I mean, I can tell you any of the Zwift Insider tiny races. Those are brutal. If you haven't done one in a while or you've never done one, those things suck. I catted up to C last year sometime. First two, I was like, I think I got 13th and then 27th. And then I just got blown out. But actually, sorry, to go back to the worst race, it was the first time I ever catted up to C. So the race before was ZRL, and I got code 7'd in the race as a D because I didn't know where my racing score and category were, but I get upgraded, and then the next race was a Richmond 2015 UCI course. We're doing 2 laps around this thing. I think it took me an hour and 20 minutes, and I was second to last, and I was just alone on the course.
Yeah.
Like, it was.
You get one of those climbs, and just okay, I'm on my own.
Never again. Every time I'm on Richmond, I'm like,
Yeah, you've probably heard me. I mean, you may have heard me if you watch my recons, like complaining quite a lot about this season about like there being like a really hard bit right at the start, and that's because I've been in those races where you're in the, you're new to the kart or you're new to racing or whatever, and you just get dropped at the start. You're like, oh great, I'm dropped right at the start. Do you really have to have a really tough bit right at the start, like a sprint, like there was in, was it Turf and Surf or a hill like there was in New York or wherever? Do you have to
I think
right at the start?
yeah.
Can you not
I
just
think
have
the
like 10
worst-
Ks of rolling along?
Like, I think the worst ones are the one where it's a points race and there's a sprint 2 kilometers off the front. Like, I think it was the Makara 40 last year we did, and it was a full 2-3 minute effort.
Yeah.
And
right
I got dropped
right
instantly.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, back to surf and turf where it's the first sprint 2 kilometers out. It's not fun. It's not. I don't know. I wish they would pick different courses for points races.
Yeah, like give people a chance to get it.
Yeah, or maybe just not make the first sprint points or something. It's that's what I like about Indy Velo is you can set like a neutral zone. No people don't like neutral zone, but for ZRL it'd be great to have like 5 kilometers neutral where everyone you get into the race, because a lot of new people will get into ZRL and just not realize how hard it is from the gun, and just get dropped, and then don't want to ever race ZRL again because it's such a terrible experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like with a lot of things, and I think I'm going to do a segment about this in the future. But like, GCN posted a post about like a trainer that they advised was like a good entry-level trainer for getting into Zwift, and it was a smart trainer, but it was maybe £300 or something like that, which is, I don't know, well, $350. It's like nearly equivalent, isn't it? So, and they were like, but it doesn't go over 500 watts or something like that. And you're like, what? It doesn't go over 500 watts? And this guy, a former pro, was saying, well, my training sessions very rarely go over 500 watts. So that's going to give the impression that, that's utterly fine. If I was a non-cyclist looking to get onto Zwift and a former pro said, you don't need to go over 500 watts. Okay, well, if a former pro doesn't go over 500 watts, I won't need to go under 500 watts. But you can't race if you don't go under 500 watts. You've just ruled that out 100%. Even in DCAT, you need to go over 500 watts.
Yeah, just to get out of the pen.
Yeah.
But this is where it's this massive disconnect between Zwift racing and just Zwift, doing group rides and riding around the free world. Like DC Rainmaker and GP Llama are like the biggest tech people in the space, but they never race. They haven't. Yeah. They just don't race, and they don't. Their reviews are based on most of what people do on Zwift, which is just doing group rides or
steady state.
But in our space, our space, that is just completely rubbish trainer, and we know that if someone actually gets into racing, they just wasted their 300 pounds, and they're such good trainers. Like the Kicker Core is so cheap and isn't that much more expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, to 300, from 300 to 400 or 450. That's all you'd have to go, isn't it? You know,
Yeah,
Sorry, John.
when I'm streaming on TikTok, that's a big question I get asked by people that have no idea what this is. It's like, what is this game, and how can I do it?
Yeah.
I'm like, you can get in as cheap as $400, and that's for a used road bike and a used trainer.
Yeah.
Like, and you're gonna have a good time with that.
One that can, simulate 15% gradients and
Yeah.
1200 watts or whatever.
Yeah, the Kicker Snap right now is like $150. I just sold one for $150 on Facebook Marketplace. Like, they're relatively cheap just based on like Zwift coming out with the Zwift Ride and the Zwift Hub. Like, they have destroyed what was mainly dominant by Wahoo, which I think is kind of crazy to me.
Yeah. Okay. So the other, oh God, we've got loads to talk about. Right. So we've got steering, or I love the MAAP rides. Should we? I tell you what, let's do both. Let's do both. If people don't want to listen, you can turn off, go and do something else, speak to your family or something. But we're gonna talk about whatever we want to talk about. You okay? You okay for this to go on for like 3 hours or something? Anyway, right. I'm going to talk about it. If anyone wants to tell me to shut up, then we will do. No, that's excluded. That's excluded. Ben. Right. Oh, how do we get the next thing on? Oh, what? Why won't the image? Oh, here we go.
We got it.
Yeah, Zwift Play. Zwift Play is now half price, which is bloody annoying because I bought 2 at the supposedly introductory price of $99.99, and now it's gone down to half. It was meant to go up. I've got
a big announcement, Rob. You know how I've always been saying I'm not buying these bloody things because I can't buy them in Australia.
Oh,
when they went to half price, I was like, all right. Yeah, you can't. I can't buy it. Like, I literally go onto the site.
Yeah.
And I can't post them to myself. So I've got one of my English teammates. They bought them. They've got them at their house and they're sending them to me. Because like it can't. Like, it's 50% off. Plus also then now there's an app where I can use the virtual shifters on my trainer, even though it's not a virtual trainer.
Oh, I don't understand that. Say that again.
You can download an app and use it on your phone, which is a go-between. So I will be able to use the virtual shifting on my Elite trainer, even though it hasn't got virtual shifting in Zwift. So I'll be able to use virtual shifting in Zwift and also in Develo using the Zwift Plays, which is one of the things.
Isn't this?
It's not cheating. You're just using the virtual shifting.
But
you're not using that. It's not for that power.
I have heard that it's commonly used for cheating as well.
It's commonly used for cheating, but you're using it for the shifting. You're not using it for the power.
Yeah, I know.
Are you cheating over there in Australia?
I'm doing it very badly.
They're just anyway. So no, I'm not going to go.
So that was my biggest complaint is I don't want to buy the Zwift Plays if it locks me into Zwift, but for $50 or half price, and also the fact that you can use them in other apps, which is probably the most important thing because you got them stuck on your bike. If you got to constantly take them on and off every time you want to ride on or Training Peaks Virtual, which I also have. Because I'm a founding member, whatever it is, I paid for it, so I got a 1 year free subscription now. So I'll have to use Training Peaks to take advantage of that. But yeah, I've got the Zwift Plays coming, which
it won't work on my Whoosh, will it?
Well,
like if I've got the cog, will virtual shifting ever work on my Whoosh?
If there is no virtual shifting in my Whoosh, it would never work because it only does the virtual shifting.
Oh, okay.
But my Wish surely will get virtual shifting at some stage. It seems ridiculous that they don't do virtual shifting at the moment.
Yeah, like Lado, what's his name? Matt. He said, "Oh yeah, I could turn it on tomorrow if I want." I was like, "Could you turn it on tomorrow, please?" And he's like, "No."
Yes, thank you. Do that because a lot of people are going to have bikes that don't have gears, like you.
Yeah, I don't have gears.
Yeah.
Anymore.
I like the aspect of the hub, or not the hub, the cog. Like the virtual gearing is a very unique piece of technology. Like I love being able to use my bike and not like killing my chain and the derailleur. Like it makes life easier, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I've used my derailleur in ages.
Does it still work, Rob?
No idea. Don't know. My
My,
front wheel
um,
doesn't work. My front wheel is probably knackered because the reason that I keep getting like punctures is because I like tied it to the ground, tied my front wheel to the ground, and
Do you tied your front wheel to the ground?
I drilled it into the ground. Like I made like big drilling holes and put this like a bike thing on because it kept like jumping up and down. Everyone was like complaining about it squeaking. I was like, okay, I'm going to drill it. I'm going to drill it. I made big holes in the bottom of my garage.
So what do you do when you move your bike? You just leave the front wheel on the ground.
I haven't moved my bike. Why would I move my bike? I don't do it. It just stays there. But so and then the wheel like obviously went down. I was like, oh, okay, I'll put
How are you going to change your tube?
Well, the wheel. What is the mechanics of it here? That there's a hole in the ground, and then there's I've got like one of those old style like bike parker things. You know, like you slot your bike into to keep it balanced, like your front wheel to keep it balanced. And yeah, it must be like 40 years old, that thing. But that is then, what is it? How's that tied to the ground? I've got these like proper like screws that go into the ground that tie this thing to the ground, and then I've got cable ties, and then I cable tie the wheel to the metal thing.
You need to show this on stream. Do you use a riser block then, or is it just literally the wheel on the ground?
It's the wheel on the ground tied to this thing, but it's got like two, so it's always in the same place. I think that's the problem, and I've probably knackered my rims by having it always in the same place. Whereas
surely not.
When it was,
We need a video tutorial on your channel sometime about how I can get this set up. Because this is what I need.
It's not good.
You too.
I've lost my
can
sprint
ruin
since
your
I've
wheel.
done it as well, but somehow I'm still persistent with it. I think when I used to be able to get a bit of motion on it, I think it used to help my sprint. But anyway, okay, let's move to another topic. Oh, no, got browser. Okay, how about map? Have you ever? Wait a minute. Just wait. Can you talk amongst yourself just for a sec?
Yeah.
So what do you use a riser block, or do you just have your wheel on the ground as well, like Rob?
I have a riser block. I could not ride my bike if I didn't have one. Now, I agree. As Rob said that, like, if I didn't use my road bike, like screwing it into the ground makes sense for sprints. Like, I definitely have my wheel going up and down a little bit when I'm trying to put in 8 to 1,000 watts. Like,
yeah, I like my 8 watt sprints as well.
yeah. Back when I started and this 80 watts that I was doing.
Because there's a whole people that love doing, what do they call them? The rocker plates. But if you look at the elite Zwifters, they're doing the opposite direction. They literally will bolt down the trainer so that the trainer does not flex at all, because they think that they have a bigger sprint. Whereas you see other people will go with the rocker plates. But I actually went from having carpet on the ground to having the trainer out in the concrete. And the first thing I noticed was I gained about 100 watts in my sprint. And so I'm definitely on the not having a rocker plate during sprints cap after that. And that was just carpet with a bit of foam under my bike. So I can't imagine what a rocker plate would do.
Yeah, I've got a rocker plate sat next to mine. I had it on for about a week and I just couldn't quite get used to it. So I've just got it there.
I made a comment on Ryan's that a lot of people get a rocker plate because they get a sore ass from riding on Zwift. But it's a bit like you get a sore ass riding outdoors when you first start riding.
Yeah, exactly.
You will have a sore ass.
Right,
yeah, you'll get used to it after a while.
Yeah, exactly.
And don't ride for 6 hours without getting off the bike. Just get off the bike every 2 hours, go to the toilet, fill your bottles up.
Yeah. So, right. Okay, last topic, I promise, is I don't even know what it stands for, actually. MAAP series announced. There's some sort of Melbourne... I can't read that, can you?
Map. Okay.
Mapping
Yeah,
the
this
field.
is what
I
they
used
do
to love
every
mapping
year.
I know, but I really love these rides for some reason.
I'm
But just down the road from me, it's a Melbourne-based company.
All right, well, good on them anyway. I don't know why. I just love them. They're sort of like they're essentially just like Tour de Zwift, Tour of Watopia kind of things. They're group
You usually get
rides,
cool kit.
but and you get cool kit. It's better than the Zwift kit, and they tend to be really cool routes as well. And they're maybe not as often, but yeah, that it tends. You get the cheats, obviously. You
Yeah.
get the wheel on guys and whatever else, but I just really love this series. I always do.
Every year that they release this, I used to get pissed off. I was like, just make it a race because I want to get Zwift power points because it's a race. And I say it's a group ride, but it's a race. But this is the first year I like actually make it a group ride because of the Zwift racing score. I don't want to have to race every single time I do these map races. I do actually would like to just cruise around, and because it's a group ride, it doesn't affect your Zwift racing score. So this is the first year I've gone, okay, yeah, you've done well making this as a group ride.
Yeah, so I thought we'd look at the routes. John, do you want to talk about any one of them? Is there anyone that you want to talk about?
Power to the Portal. I
Power to
am
the
in
Portal.
love
Okay,
with this.
Let's
Yeah,
get that
that's-
up then.
Is that the first time that we've actually had this in Zwift? Despite
I
Yes.
think we have. Yeah.
So the strange thing.
Let John talk about it because he's a recon.
He's the king.
Professional recon.
Where's the crown?
So I'm gonna do it in two parts. I'm afraid because it is two parts, isn't it?
That's my wish.
Yeah.
So there's the Power to the Portal has like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, John. I know.
Oh,
if
me.
you want me to change the graphic. Tell me.
No, you're good. So the aspect of this, I think I've talked about previously, I think earlier this year. I was like, I wish there were races that would connect your Watopia races to the power portal, like the portal, climb portals. Because I think that's really cool. Like, you could seriously make really cool tour events with this if they realized how to like get it all working. But let me click into the route real quick. Power to the portal.
So
you have
it's
the
in two
Jarvis
parts
Storm.
basically. There's a power to the portal, and then there is the portal. So
Okay.
this one, you do the power to the portal, and then you do Willonga. How do you pronounce that?
Hill.
I can't believe
actually
I'm
being in
asking an
Australia.
Australian how to pronounce something.
Well, it is in Australia. If I can't spell out properly, it's because Adelaide people are just weird. But yeah, it's Wollonga Hill, the famous Wollonga Hill as they call it in Adelaide. So I don't know why you don't know how to pronounce it. It's actually Richie Port. Just it was his backyard pretty much. He used to win the race like seven years in a row, something ridiculous. It was his hill.
So, we start at a Watopia, which is cool. Or like downtown and going into the Ocean Boulevard. That's a pretty easy start. How many? I wish I knew how many numbers of races started in those downtown pens. Because I feel like it's every single Watopia race. Some other in the deserts or the downtown. So
They really
that'll
need
be
to
a
add
pretty
pens.
easy start.
Yeah, they need to add pens somewhere else.
I wish you could start from the pens in just a regular ride. Like all my recons, the last one I did, the TTT was I like started 1.8 kilometers ahead of where the pens would be, and it's like okay, well. But anyways,
why didn't you start at the pens? Why do you spawn like
yeah.
some weird spot? Oh, I suppose you start. Do you spawn? Because I only ever race. I don't do anything else.
I was like, what happens when you don't race? You don't start the pen? That's weird.
Weird experience. Do you start at the start spot rather than the lead-in?
You just start on the side of the road.
You start on the side of the road in front of the rock formation. But
So,
I did
right. You missed the
TikTok.
lead-in, do you?
You miss, most of the lead-in. But the weird thing is TikTok, you start next to the desert pens. So it's like it's one of those things that Zwift just like when they created it, they just weren't thinking correctly, I think.
Well, there's sometimes it's an absolute bonus because you miss the lead in, like the Lucia. Like if you do the group ride, you start right at the top, whereas if you do the race, you got to do the climb at the beginning. So there is bonuses. But the other thing too is you start a ride and you might be 300 meters down the road the next time you do that same ride because there's like a pen outside of the pens. And so we'll put you at the side of the road, but you'll be different spots depending on where Zwift decides to put you.
Right, I'm getting tired of this. Right, John, what's your view on this route?
I like it a lot. I like it. That's it. Next, but
Yeah, it does. You don't get dropped straight away.
Then it goes on to Wollonga Hill, and Wollonga Hill. I'm going to get up. Do you know? Have you ever discovered the Windows pace thing? You can press Windows and pace. It's awesome, and you can
Windows pace.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Do copy. If you do copy, and then you do instead of doing like Control C, Control V. Maybe everyone knows this. I don't know. But instead of doing Control V, you do Windows V. It's got like your history of your clipboard.
This is fascinating, Rob.
You should really try it. It's the best thing in Windows.
But going back to that map, so obviously we turn left at Wollonga Hill before it goes around to the
Are you
start
trying to
pens again.
supplant the Recon King? He's the Recon King, and this is the one route he wanted to talk about. You're trying to supplant him.
Well, we haven't got to Wollonga Hill
take
yet.
his crown. He's barely been the king for like a week.
We've barely even talked about this route.
It's a drama. It's just no good. I think we've got to get a new king.
Treason.
But on that recon, on that thing, just so everyone's clear, because just for my own, from when I'm writing the map, it's just 3/4 of a lap. I'm assuming we're not doing a lap and a half or something.
Yeah, I think we'll take a left at the portal once we come out of the volcano, I believe.
Yeah, so you go around Jarvis Island, don't you?
Yeah. Which either of you raced on Jarvis Island?
Yeah, I had to do that bloody punishment ride.
That course is fun. I love the KLM.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I
mean, especially the course that they had this week for Z racing, where you did one lap of it. That's the kind of thing that you want. You just want it like included in the loop, or it to be the final bid or whatever. That was great. I love that route. I was terrible at it. I was utterly awful. It was the worst. I think because it did the Jarvis Island loop, and then it went out to the Hilly Colm. And the Hilly Colm is where I've done some of my best races ever. And I was like, right, I'm going to attack them here. And I just didn't have the legs. I just didn't have it. I'm just not as fit as I used to be. And I just died every time. Other than the first time I did it, when I went solo and I did my sneaky thing through the S's. Because I've got steering, and I know how to modulate my power. I just like, gained 20 seconds on them through the S's, and I was off. Which was enough time. But yeah, it was only a small group. But other than that, I was pants. Anyway, John.
Yeah, I mean, this will be interesting to see in a race, I think, for Zwifters, like C's, B's, A's, and B's. Like, we had the conversation. Everyone's going to have a little bit of a different experience on this. But, I mean, it starts off pretty decent at a 6%, 6 or 7. There's a few spots in here in the first half that probably push up to 8, 9%. And I think that's where you're going to really find out where you are in your group. Because at this point, you still have double the time left after those 8 and 9%. But you're going to have to realize, like, what pace can you actually hold? Because on the left of Zwift Insider, it says if you hold 5 watts per kilogram, it's going to take you 11 minutes. Like,
I don't
what?
think.
Yeah.
Apparently,
oh my God.
Yeah.
It's only an Australian hill. They're not meant to have proper hills.
it's so much. It is so much longer than I thought it was.
Yeah.
I think every single climb portal I've done has taken me like, I don't know, 15 minutes or something like that. I think there was one that took me almost an hour. But these climb portals are no joke.
Here's a tip for you: don't do them. Instead of doing them,
Yeah.
it's just like far better just not to do them. Just like ignore them.
I haven't done one for a long time because I was a real fan of them because I thought this is what was going to happen. We'll get Zwift races where we ride around one of the route and then we'll go into the portal. And then Zwift just forgot that they had portals. And so I was taken until this time. Like, oh, that's right, we got portals. We can use those.
Yeah, like one of my friends, Keith Roy, he's currently on an 814-day consecutive century ride. So every day does a
Jesus
century.
Christ.
He's still going, is he?
Yeah, he's at 814, I think, today.
To what extent do you know?
So he lives like right near me, like
really?
probably
So
30, 40 minutes. Yeah.
You've met the real Keith Roy.
Met. Yeah.
Wow. He's a proper legend.
And we've rode a few times on Zwift, just in like Miguel pacing partner.
Yeah.
But like I'll see his Strava and he does his 100 miles and like he does climb portals during it. I'm like, why? Like you're killing your distance.
Yeah, Fuego Flats, don't leave.
Yeah, that's my go-to route right now.
Does he do some of the hundreds outdoors?
Yeah, he does a lot of them in the summer outdoors, which is like all over our area that we live.
Blimey.
I had a mate who was obsessed with getting as many kilometers in. I think at 25, no, maybe even 30,000. But it was like a Forrest Gump moment once he got to like a point where he's like, I can't beat that next year. It's like, okay, I think I'm going to go home now. Because it's just, you get...
Yeah, his Strava every week is like 1,000 miles. And it's like, man, to be you. Like...
Yeah. But, yeah. Just what you can do, isn't it?
We need get him on the show, Rob.
Oh, we should do. Do you mind asking? Could you get? I did used to communicate with him occasionally. I do particularly like him. If you could ask him if he wants to come on, that'd be awesome. But it'd be knackered, assumedly. I've just done 100K.
He'll be on the bike.
So.
The last time I rode with him, he had a root canal in the morning, and then he just like hopped on the bike and continued to do 100 miles.
You'd feel pretty good with the painkillers.
Right, so the other two routes, this is the first route. Why is it not... What's going on? Why is it doing this stupid stuff? What's going on? Ben, tell me what's going on.
I think the page is not found, Rob.
It's because the Windows thing is a bit... Although I've been a strong advocate for it, it does occasionally put it in twice. That's what it did. Anyway, so the first route is what's it called? Volcano After Party, I think.
One question I have for the Recon King is this mass start or is it the cats
former
all
Recon King or
divided?
The current Recon King?
Well, depends. Whoever gets this answer right will be the new Recon King. Is it a mass start like A's and B's and C's and D's, or is it split categories?
It's probably going to be a mass start, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Just because everyone's in this, it'll be like a tour of Watopia or tour of Zwift or whatever they did.
In all of them, especially if it's the, your one, what was your one? The whatever that goes out to the right, doesn't it, from the pier? And you really, if you're in that pen, you really need to. In that race, you really need to just like put it all into that hill, out to the S's or wherever it is. You turn right and there's that. I want some acknowledgement that you know what the hell I'm talking about.
Are you talking about if you, because when you're in a pen and you're at the very back, and you pull out and all of a sudden you're miles behind the other groups. Is that what you're talking about? Because there's nothing more annoying than when
you've got the pier pen, and then you go. If you go right, there's a descent. And then there's the banner, and then there's a bit of flat, and then there's the hill. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a mass start race, you need to just give it everything to get with the the
Yeah,
the
like if
highest group that
A
you
start at
can.
the very front, yeah. If A start at the very front of the pens and D's at the back, it's usually not too bad.
I don't think they will in this. I think it's
Yeah,
just
it depends on
you
what.
just-
Yeah.
the pens
The
are
other
just
question is,
automatically assigned.
Dave asked is late joining now, but I'm pretty certain every single group ride event you can join up to 30 minutes beforehand.
Yeah. Oh
And
man,
my
some
big-
of those Tour de Drift is what was it? Was it just been? Has it just been Tour de Drift or Tour or top?
The one where you get the bike
Was it just
parts
been?
or something. No, that was Tour de Zwift. It was Tour Watopia, I should say, wasn't it? I don't know. Anyway, my top tip is you can always late join even if you're in the ride. So if you join and you're 5 minutes into the ride and you get dropped badly, just quit.
There's
Get back
just some
in
of these
and you'll be
crazy
put back into
starts.
the front
Like
group.
they've been going hell for leather for 3 minutes to try and stay with the front. Then some dude just joins like 3 minutes
Yeah.
in, and he gets given the front place. Like bloody hell, man! I've just done 600 watts for 3 minutes.
I love that when you got Hilly KOM out of the gate. I just wait till everyone's got to the top of Hilly KOM and then just join.
And it gives you
Like,
the front group.
I don't want
Does
to
it
warm
always
up.
give you the front group?
Depends, but it usually gives you the front group.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love this route. And volcano climb after party. So it's very boring in a way, but I actually quite like boring routes where you just go round and round and round and round. I quite like that. I don't give a shit about what you. Oh, sorry. I don't care at all about like. Oh, what are you? I'm going round and round in circles. Like you're not really moving. You're not actually moving. You know, you just.
think
What
that-
is it about people who like? Oh no, you're just seeing the same thing. Who cares about the Zwift graphics for crying out loud? So you go round
I
and
do
round
like
and
the
round.
I do like the volcano climb because you got two sections. You got the bit up until the middle of it,
Yeah.
and you know you got to get to that point, and then you can have a little bit of a rest, and then you can do the second half. So it breaks it up. It's not just around and around in a circle. And also,
But the
once
main
you start
point
to know the little dips, once you start to know the dips, you're like, okay, this is the bit I've really got to hang on to because there's going to be a little bit of downhill. I can get some break. I can get a rest.
Yeah, it is surprisingly draftable long sections of the volcano. But I mean, after parties like this, I love after parties like this because although I won't be able to beat the A's, I will. You know, if I make it, depending on the strength of them, you know, up the hairpins. So this basically the only climb in this, like for 33 Ks, is going up the hairpins, which is like 1%. Tons of draft. You know, just draft them, and they'll be trying to get away, and other people will be following them, and I'll just chase the chasers. Ooh. And then I'll get to the volcano, and you know, all the people who are better than me, you know, 90% of them will be behind me because they'll have tried to, you know, it's just an efficiency ride until the com, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, you hold back on the gas until you get to the important part.
yeah, just it's all chases, and the second one's much the same. The it's a com. I've never seen this route.
I'm not so this route in general. Anytime you have to go up the Itza KLM and then the Mayan KLM, it's just not fun. We did it last season in ZRL with Glyph Heights, and it's a rough KLM because you get two, you get back to back, it just breaks you down.
Well, okay, so there's two things on that. The one is there's tons of flat beforehand, so again it's the same kind of crack because essentially it's an after party kind of route, isn't it? There's loads of flat. Just get as efficient as you can on the flat bits. You know, I think it comes out. And this is terrible graphics. I'm sorry, but I couldn't get it better. I think you've only got like the rise out of the desert, which is particularly, you know, hard, and you know that's not. As long as you've got a bit of punch, you can get up there.
Yeah.
It depends on your level, but if you
Now
can
for-
save as much energy as possible going into that, and then get with the highest group that you can. So what is that? What is that? That must be the rise out of the desert. You see the one at the climb at
Yeah,
3K or
that's
so.
the
That must
one
be the
going
rise
into
out
the
of the desert,
redwood
is it?
forest. Yeah, it looks bigger just because there's nothing else.
Yeah.
There's no other elevation change.
And then the main mountainside is tough. There's no draft to be had there. But if you can, maybe people will be holding back on the basis that the Itzicom is to come, and the Itzicom is surprisingly draftable as well in parts. It's a punchy climb. Get to the back.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we've got Steve Jukes' Rate My Ride. We can't possibly do that in the quiz, can we? I'm sorry, we've gone on so long.
Oh, wait. You can give. What's the synopsis of his ride? What was his race? Do a very quick rundown.
He did
Don't have to worry about video. You can just. What did he do?
It's the longest one I've done as well. It's 6 minutes. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. This is going to mean we're going to do a 2-hour podcast. Is everyone all right with that?
Sounds good to me.
I'm just enjoying it so much. You're such an entertaining character, John.
I appreciate it. I'm having a great time. Actually, I do have one quick question before we start the video.
Okay.
And it's for, do you do a lot of these after party races?
No, because they're not very common. But I'd love to do more of them. And whenever they are, I tend to overperform in that, I get such huge efficiency gains on the flats against most of my opponents that I think, oh no, the climb, I'm terrible at climbing. But they're all knackered because they've been properly racing and I've just been, I'll follow that move kind of thing. And I find it quite easy to get to the finish quite often. In a mass card, it depends who you're with. If you're with top A's, then you might be knackered, but the chances are that you've dropped most of the people who you should have been competing with, that kind of thing.
And do you go lightweight bike or more all around?
Oh no, all aero. For any after
All
party,
aero?
I'd go full aero to try and stay with the fastest group that you can.
Give me a little detail for next week, for my, because we have Leaf Hill, I believe.
We've got the.
I have no.
Oh, you're trying to leech information from me, John.
I'll let you in on information as I didn't ride it. I actually saw not Tadej Pogacar ride it in one of his videos, and I just said, hey, can I use your footage?
What?
Because I ride all my recons. I ride all of my recons. But
all he's giving you the footage.
I was just like,
he's meant to be a friend of this channel. He's meant to be a friend. We're meant to be mortal enemies, and he's giving you his footage. God damn you, Ollie.
Here's the WWE drama. We're bringing more YouTubers into this.
Oh, I tell you what will be interesting: the pronunciation of the final.
Not pronouncing it.
Right. Okay. I really am extending this podcast. This is going to be the longest podcast ever. But I really want to show this. Is this stupid to do it?
Get it done.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk.
Right, so this is Steve Jukes, one of my longest associates on Zwift, and he's on the Mighty Metropolitan. He's one of the most efficient riders in Zwift. A disciple of mine, I would say, and in that respect. And he's riding for HCT against my team, actually. This is the Kaboomas won this race overall, and Steve has got an awesome 1 minute power. His 1 minute power is 9.1 or something like that, and his sprint is 15 watts per kilogram, something like that. He's utterly awesome sprinter, and this is the moment that I wanted to talk about, where no wonder it went off slow. I've slowed it down a little. It's 25%. But as you're going into these climbs, you really, and people just don't understand this, you really need to be at the back. You need to be at the back, getting So this is the the climb between 3 and 4 kilometers, and you just need to short. The reason I shortened it was because you could see how much more the people, even 10 spots above him, were doing than him going into that climb for the first 10 seconds or so. But if you minimize that time that you're going, that makes so much difference. If you've got that 10 seconds available of power at the end rather than using it at the beginning, it just makes all the difference. Steve has not got a great 5 minutes, for instance, but he has got a great 3 minutes. So, saving 10 seconds on the time that he's putting in the effort, which he did there, just is utterly awesome. And I should say that Steve's submitted this expecting to get a poor rating, I think, because he's an awesome rider and he does very well in these a lot of races, and he came not at the top, shall we say, but I think he just does awesome. Like these rollers, it's just his positioning. Look, he's deliberately dropping back before the ascents. So here, maybe he's a little bit far back there, but as he's approaching into these climbs, he's getting all the benefit of this draft, and he's moving forward to cover moves, and then dropping back on the descents, getting all that draft. And I just think it's really an exemplary ride in terms of positioning. He never hits the front. If he hits the front, it's when he's here. So here he moves to the front to cover moves, but then he drops back. And it's this dropping back, knowing where the position is. And so is this the com? Is this the actual com? Yeah, this is the lowest level.
Right before
So
it.
we'll turn right here.
Yeah, and it's so he's taking the fast draft. So the draft that you want, so you need to be in some draft, and the draft that you want is the draft of the fastest. So he moves up to take the draft of the fastest and he really cut down the power. And I almost want to fast forward through the really steep bits, because there's no draft. You just do what you can do, isn't it? And he's keeping fairly steady power. He's just doing what he can do on the steep bits. And you can't criticize anyone for saying, oh, do a bit more. Go faster. Like that's not something to criticize someone for. So yeah, on this bit I particularly love. So this bit, he's obviously got more power than this available, but he deliberately drops off, even though he's dropping off the draft. But there's no draft at 28 kph. Essentially, I mean, not no draft, but there's virtually no draft. You're better off taking the rest, and I think he does awesome there, to take the rest and drop off the group, rather than, and I don't know everyone else's opinion about it, I think he does better to take the rest. If they're all doing 400 and he's doing 200 on that flat bit, I think that's a far better thing to do. And then when it comes to the steep bit, he catches them back up. There's no draft. You're doing 21 kph. You just give it what you've got. You'll just give it what you've got. I mean, he's got 400, 500, whatever you've got. He's trying to stay with the front. He wants to stay with the front. He's nearly there, but he doesn't quite do it. And then he drops off again. Look at how much he drops off again. He's like, I've got to get some bloody rest here, because he knows that there's the 15%. So he lets them go away again. And he has got the power. He's got the 500 watts that he can give. If he'd given the 500 watts on the flat, then it'd be highly critical. But he gives the 500 watts when it's at 15%, when it matters. It gives it all he's got, all the way up. And I was just, and I've been in this position before on this exact KOM. I nearly won the Dirt Racing Series KOM on this, and I got to the top and I was doing 20 watts when I crossed over the line. I was battling one other person, and I just couldn't get out more than 20 watts, because I'd given everything I had on that 15%, which is the right thing to do. And he does the same here. He's down to, but if you haven't got it, you haven't got it. But you give it all on that final bit. Now this is the bit that I think loses him is A. So these guys are going past him, and he's knackered obviously, so he's going down this 0%. I know what.
Yeah, I was going to say this is a bit where back there you need just to dig in regardless.
Yeah,
to
so
make
he,
sure you don't lose
so he
those
digs in
wheels.
here. So what do you think his mistake is here? So he digs
Well,
in.
when he went over the banner, he should have just, regardless of how bad you feel, because you're going to have a rest down here. Just
Okay.
put everything in.
Right, watch
Yeah.
now though.
Because
Watch
he's
now.
lost momentum.
Watch now.
No momentum.
He could have won it. He could have got the back here, I think.
I mean,
Does
if
it
he puts
fire
a
his
big
anvil?
sprint there,
He holds
and
onto
then,
his
yeah,
anvil.
with the anvil.
Yeah. But
I think if you're
yeah.
in survivor mode, like you are there, like you need to use the anvil at that top part. Like
Yeah. I
the,
think if it
it's a good ride, right? Like fantastic drafting throughout the first part of this whole race. Like you're saving so much more energy than everyone else. You need to be able to use that strength a little farther, just a touch. And it's way easier saying it than doing it. Like I get it. I've been out of those points where it's just you break, but the rest of your race is easier if you put in an extra 5 seconds there.
Yeah, like because he was right where he needed to be. Literally just 50 meters before the banner, I was going to say, oh, he finishes in the front group here. And then it's just, I know it's hard to do in that situation, but you literally just got to make yourself just push that a little bit harder because you've got that rest coming. You might feel like you can't do any more, but you can always can. You might not be able to do 500 watts, but you can always do another 100 watts.
Yeah, always
can't
burn
always
those
do another
matches if you
100
have that
if you've
rest.
already
You
done
can
that
always
extra
do
bit.
100. You can always do another 100 watts. Always. It's just.
And if you do those
It's
100, can you do 100 more?
Well, you can always do more than you do for those few seconds. You always can. That's the reason why I can't do workouts when I do intervals because mentally I can't access what I need to. Whereas if I race, because I can see the finishing line, there's someone in front of me, I'll push deeper than if I'm doing a bloody workout. Same thing with when you get to that KOM, just because the banner's there, you got to not think about the banner. You got to think, I need to hold that wheel that's going past me right now because if I lose that
I
wheel,
could have done more than 20 watts when I was at the top.
yeah. Well, it's you. Yeah, like you are dead, but you've done all the effort to get there. You've gotten to the top with those riders. If you got to the top with those riders, it means that you can still hang with those riders. Otherwise, I wouldn't have ridden away from you. Yeah, but
Anyway.
it's very easy to say. I'm glad I wasn't at the
and
top there,
similarly
bloody spitting
here,
blood.
So you've got two HCT riders with Micah Boomer. And Micah Boomer's leading them out, and they're just drafting him. And I was like, you've got the group up ahead. The two HCTers, they were only 3 seconds off when they got to the bottom. You see the group up ahead. That's the front group. And they just get further and further away, and Micah Boomer's leading them, and the two HCTers are sitting on a bit, so it's there. I think all my teammates up ahead, and it's Micah Boomer leading them. So he just nicks off now. It's like, okay, you're not going to play.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Is if you don't want to drag everyone with you. You got to either do nothing or kick hard.
Yeah, I had a similar race in New York for the beginning of November in the FRR tour, where we dropped off the front peloton, but the group of 7 of us just took turns, suicide pulls, like hard pulls. We ended up getting back into that front group and finishing quite well. Sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet.
Sometimes where I think Swanee here is one of my favourite riders, a dirt rider. So I think he's the guy in the blue cap. I think he's a 98 kilo kind of guy, massive watts, and I think he leads this group, trying to lead them back to the front. I think that's a mistake. I think there's more of his teammates in the front, and you've got to really think strategically about, what are the numbers. If I'm leading two, if there's, two, so the two leading teams in this league are Dirt. Well, there's two Dirt teams actually, but there's Dirt. There's Dirt and HCT basically, and then Kaboom were third, I think. And is he dragging? Do you want to drag an entire group back up to your teammates?
Yeah. This is where I love having Discord chat and people who know about cycling tactics in your team. They can say, okay, this is a situation. The guys at the back, you don't pull. We're in the front, or vice versa. We've got one person in the front.
If you've got 4 teammates in this, then fair enough. But if your 4 teammates are up in front, you're dragging dragging your opposition up.
Yeah. I think a lot of teams in ZRL just basically they ride as individuals.
Yeah.
Talk about the race, but they just ride as individuals. But then you get some teams which will literally be on Discord and chat tactics, and that's when the real magic happens in team racing.
Yeah, it's amazing how many people drag opposition up to their teammates.
I love it.
Get off the front! If I'm in a breakaway and I see someone on the front of the chase, I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
There's nothing that makes me happier than when the opposition team does what you want them to do. In terms of they chase down their teammates. You just like, this is fantastic. I don't have to do anything.
Or if you're in a 2-up, you're like, okay, I'll sit behind him until he stops pulling. And he just carries on. Just like dragging you up. Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I'll help out. I can't even get past their shoulder.
If you're going to do all the work,
yeah.
It's like weird. Some people have a weird approach to cycling in competition.
I think there is some people who just ride on Zwift because they're like, I want to get stronger. They don't give a damn about racing tactics. They're just like, I'm here for a workout. And so they're the ones who will just pull. You try and, as I said, I try and get past them. I just hit their shoulder and then I can't get past them because they pull harder.
But some people take it as a principle. Even if they're off the front with their only competition and the chaser way behind, they'll say, no, I don't like racing like that. I don't like just making the other person ride. You're like, well, you don't like winning? What, even if they're the better sprinter, and they're like, I got beaten. He was stronger than me. Yeah, he was stronger than you all the way. If you just sat on him.
I don't know if you guys watch Bike Racing Without Mercy. We've been trying to get him off the front because you're basically like, I'm going to ride zone 3 from here on, and so you'll be on the front of the group. Everyone just sitting behind him. We're like, just get off the front for 5 minutes. Just have a bit of relax because we just want you to be able to sprint in the finish. But he's just there to do the workout rather than actually do the tactics. He's getting better. But
so nice.
Here's a mentality of just, I need to make this hard.
Right. So Steve's a bit of a sprinter. So coming in the finish, and nothing much happens here. I don't know why I included this bit.
It's actually pretty. When I was watching the race, it was pretty boring after the com because everyone just sat into the sprint.
Yeah. I mean, unless you.
Let's see if someone launches an attack here at the 18-kilometer point, I recommended.
Yeah, he would do that.
It's right here. Big watts and then drop the anvil.
Steve desperately wanted to come down to the last 300 meters 500 meters because he's a 1 minute guy, Steve. But
there goes an anvil.
Yeah, there goes an anvil. I think it's.
I always get this finish wrong.
Yeah, it's bloody hard.
I get this finish wrong every single time. I always fall too far back for this part of the sprint because I'm like, I don't want to be too far forward because there's a little downhill. And then I get too far back, and by the time I start moving up the front, they're 200 metres up the road.
Simon Jenkins. There's Simon Jenkins. So I've brought it down to real time now to really extend the podcast as long as we can. This is where I go with the anvil. This is the anvil use. I've used the anvil here. Oh God!
I reckon he's a bit far back here.
Yeah, he's far back. He's out of the main draft.
This is where I usually am when I mess it up.
But. Yeah. Imagine he was just 10 bike lengths
Yeah.
further ahead.
Even if he was 2 wheels ahead of the guy in front of him, because now they just
and
lost
he
the
knows
draft.
that Simon Jenkins hasn't got a sprint, so he's not. He knows. He knows not to zip. He knows that much. So but look at this. He's nearly up to like 9.
Yeah.
Oh, that is massive.
Yeah,
sprint,
if he
isn't it?
was just further up, would have been such because he's got so much pace now.
devastating, yeah. And
Wow.
he sort of uses the devastating power in the wrong place as well. You want to be using it here,
Still in the
having all these-
800s.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I think that he was pretty critical of himself and his ride. Regardless, I don't know what position he finished. Actually, it doesn't really matter as far as I'm concerned. But I would give that. So it was pretty bloody good, other than the anvil use and dropping too far back at the finish. I think it was pretty awesome. So I'm going to give it a B-. So we're going A to F grades. What do you think, gents?
Well, I think it was just a great drafting there in the beginning. Like I said, the second the KOM happened, you had the opportunity to be in that front group. And I think that's where it really drops off. Like, you can have a great race and then screw one little part up and it messes up your whole race. And not only for you, but also your team in this. So I would say C+. And that's just because you get those little watts over and stay with the front. Drop the anvil if you have to. Use your power up to survive or use your power up to win. And obviously you didn't need it to win. Like, you've got the watts in the sprint. Like, use the anvil to survive. So C+.
I hate ranking, but yeah, I'd say I'm going to go with a B because I think up until that that was perfect. And then, yeah, there was that turning point, and it's literally just 3 or 4 seconds in decision making. And also, because he actually powered to that banner ahead of people that they went past him. So using that power, maybe just in the wrong spot. If he just stayed a little bit further back, had those wheels to then accelerate, and then that would have been an A ride. So, but it's easy to say. I wouldn't like to have been in that position. I hate being at the very top of that climb and knowing that you're going to get dropped. Oh, quiz time.
Yes. The longest
I'm gonna get
podcast
it
ever.
open.
So we're going to the quiz.
Yeah.
Thank you, gents. I didn't think you were both going to be so interesting. So I'll get less interesting guests next time, and we can have a shorter podcast. Okay. Right. So the quiz, and you really should have got the quiz, the Kahoot app by now. If you haven't got the Kahoot app, I have for the first time made money out of YouTube this month. So I've made some money and I've reinvested it in a Kahoot membership. So there should be no problems with joining the quiz.
So we don't have to kick people out.
It's www.kahoot.it, or for crying out loud, download the Kahoot app. And the pin this week is 774709. And I'm sorry that we've gone on for 20 hours. Warwick Stockdale, it's his wedding anniversary. Congratulations, Warwick. John Rigby, assuming the Amiable Sphinx. That's nice to have an Amiable Sphinx and a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah, that's me.
Right, Six Sandbagger, Marky Mark. Hey, old Marky, how you doing? Right, do you think 7's enough? I'm about ready to go. John, I think that's 7. Who was in that race that we won? Right, all of the answers this week are numbers. 100% of them. And some of them are courses. So courses translate into numbers. So if there was a course name that was, for instance, double, that contained the word double, then that number would translate into 2. or if the course contained a year, for instance 2020, then that number would translate into 2020. Does that make sense, John? I want you to win, man.
Yes.
I don't want you to have to do the punishment ride.
I could cheat and look at the our other screen
Could you?
that's live, but I'm gonna watch the stream. Like our thing we're talking on is a little quicker than the YouTube stream. That's
Oh
just
yeah,
because of
but
delay.
they actually see it the same time as us
Oh, they do? Okay.
because they're logging
Okay.
onto the game rather than looking
Oh,
at
yes.
the
Okay.
stream. So they have
Never
there is
mind.
no.
Then I'm gonna cheat.
advantage. I thought you were seeing the answers for a minute.
Yes. Anyway.
Oh god,
You
am I
gotta do
sharing
it.
the answer screen?
I wish.
Yeah.
No. Okay. Right.
All right.
We're locked and loaded.
Let's lose this again.
Oh, all right.
Oh,
Let's
if
see.
anyone's got an idea of a punishment ride for whoever doesn't win the quiz, then
I'm not
put it in
doing. I'm not doing
comments.
the punishment ride. I'm sick.
Right, how many TTTs have there been in ZRL 24-24, 24-25 so far? Is 2, 3, 4, 5. How many have been completed so far?
Okay.
I've tried to do it recon centric. Did you get it?
You know, I haven't got a poker
No.
face.
Didn't get it? What?
I clicked way too early. When you said completed, I was like, oh no, we've only done 3 because this week is a TTT. So
Oh man.
it's all right. It's all right.
I'm in good company then.
About half got it right. So, Still time. Loads of
That's a
time.
trick question.
What is the answer if you use the numbers from these courses? So if you take the number from this course, which is an Inbrooks course, and divide by the number from this course. So this course might be a year, for instance. The year that the Worlds were
Okay.
held in Innsbruck. Divide
Jesus,
by the number in this course.
I'm just guessing. I ain't got time for this.
So what year were the Worlds held in Innsbruck divided by wherever this is? I meant to
Everyone
put-
gets C.
I did give that 30 seconds.
I think I went C just to guess.
So this is the World's 2018 course, and this is Two Bridges Loop. Yeah, obviously.
Oh,
Obviously.
I had no
so it's
idea.
1009. Yeah, 2018 divided by 2. That is the hardest one. That is the hardest question I've ever set.
Ah, that was easy.
I don't think
Oh,
I'm gonna
lots
get
of people
one
got.
right.
Oh, lots of people got it wrong. Why did lots of people get it wrong? Why did they all get it wrong?
I'm
the same answer?
surprised. I think the C was the guess.
Okay. Nobody's got 2 questions right so far. In fact, only 4 people have got 1 question right. Go on, Sam. You can do it. Right. More maths questions. What is the answer if you use the numbers from these courses? Right. There's a London course plus a New York course. Now, there's only single numbers that can be used in New York and London. There's only... Is it
I'm
4,
just
5, 16, or 2018?
Okay. All right.
Okay,
Cool,
so
yeah.
the 2 courses are Greater London 8 and Astoria Line 8. They're the only 2 London...
I thought that was Park Perimeter. I just knew the first one was an 8.
Astoria Line 8, I think it was. But, okay, Warwick.
This is fun, Rob.
Good on you, Warwick. Well, it's because so many people loved the maths bit that I did in the podcast last week. I decided to go more maths this week. Everyone seemed fully in favour of the maths thing.
I wasn't watching last week, so
No,
obviously
everyone
I
hated
wasn't
it.
able to say, I
Everyone
hate
hated
this,
the
Rob.
maths that I did. So I was like, right, I'm going to give you more maths. Right. More maths courses. Right, what is this squared? So the number in this course times by itself. Is it 4, 8, 9, or 16? So
All right, I think I've got this one. I think.
I think I quit this route before, so
I've never done it. And I never will
You've never
do
done it, Rob.
I'm quite proud to announce I will never do it.
Is there no races
Yeah.
on this course?
it was. I think it was the Queen stage of the first FRR tour I ever did.
I would
I
like to
quit.
publicly denounce anyone who went for 8, which is not a square number, so it could not have possibly been that. So you are mathematically
They had to-
shamed.
They have to do the punishment ride, and they've got to
But
do
it was
maths while they're
16.
riding.
So it was the 4 horseman route, and
Even I got that right. If you got that wrong, you'd be public
I
shaming.
mean, it could be. I could understand how it could be the 3 sisters potentially, so 9. But it's not going to be 4, and it's not. It's never. It can't possibly be 8 because 8 isn't a square number. Right, Warwick didn't get it wrong. He didn't let me down. Come on, Warwick.
boy.
Oh, John's onto the scoreboard now. You're on
It
the
says
board.
I'm
You're on the board.
631 points behind John.
Okay, just one more number 1 now. Last number 1. Right. What is the answer if you use the numbers from this course? So there's a Mercury Islands route plus a Utopia route. You might be familiar with the Utopia route if you're doing ZRL in the next week. Is it 11, 43, 44, or 48?
Oh, okay. Took me a second.
Oh, I didn't press it in time.
Ah, yes.
I
It is
did
43.
mention this route earlier in the podcast.
Yeah.
So-
So it is, John, the 2 routes were?
The Macari 40 and then triple flat loops.
That's right. That's right. Not impossible. There we go. So that's the end of the maths questions.
Thank God.
Oh, Warwick and alone. Ooh, alone. I never felt so low. Question 6. How many millions of kilometers of elevation have been ridden in Zwift ever? Is it 9 million, 10 million, 11 million, 12 million? Have you got Cobra Kai on us?
It's my Z-Sun racing
Nice.
headband.
All right. I'm going for
Red
C
is-
on that one.
Red is faster. What can I say?
Oh, quite even there, but it is only 9 million. Only 9 million in total, apparently, according to Zomunique. Oh, John! You're rising up! You're rising up! Oh, second place!
Boy.
Oh, the
It's
headband did the
headband.
job. Ooh, alone.
How many players are in this? I'm not going backwards. I keep
It's
getting
only
the questions
five.
wrong.
How many loops of Harrogate are rode before the hill in Queen's Highway after party? Is it 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? That's the church that I got married in, by the way, in Harrogate.
Really?
St. Peter's Church, yes,
Oh.
you'll see that if you do any Harrogate route.
Oh boy, it was 5.
Ah, did you not know that one?
I did not. I don't think
Ah, yeah, I got
I've been
married
on
there.
Yorkshire
I
too
got
many
married on
times.
Midsummer's Day in 2008, and there was a hurricane. It was literally a hurricane. So,
Like a little mini one.
terrible day. No, it was a huge hurricane. Rained all day, all night. It was awful.
Oh
And
man, they're
I
running.
nearly missed my plane the next day due to it as well. Oh, come on, John. You've got double points coming soon. Don't worry. You'll be fine. Right. Question 8. What Zwift level is John? John Rice, that is. 50, 52, 56, 58.
I don't know this.
Oh, can everyone hear the quiz music, by the way? I've tried to include the
Nah.
quiz music.
I can't hear quiz music. Maybe the stream can hear it.
Shout out to whoever got that right.
Yeah, only 2 people got it right. You
What
get
are
it
you,
right.
John? I'm 58, I guess.
You are, or you were, at least. You're certainly no lower. The question about you kind of took you out of contention, John.
I know.
Right, question 9 of 10. How many meters of elevation does Ven Top have? I did give a clue for this. Is it 1504, 1534, 1564, or 1594 meters? I've climbed that mountain in real life, as you may or
That's
may not
cool.
know.
Isn't that a picture on your Strava or something?
Probably. I never used Strava, so I don't know. I assume so. I didn't record it on Strava, so maybe it didn't really happen. Don't know. Alone is... Oh, John, you've moved back up! Oh, is this the final question? I think this final question is double points as well.
Yeah, this is a final question.
Oh, do you go quick or do you
Let's
try and
do
get
some
ensure you get it
stretching.
right? Oh, that's a tricky one. When it's so close.
I don't know. I've
Right.
guessed half of these.
Double points. What length in kilometers is triple fat loops? You would think it's a Reconners question. 33.3, 34.3, 35.3, or 36.3 kilometers.
Oh, I
tell you
would
what.
guarantee I knew that.
I'll do the punishment ride if you don't win. If you do win, okay? And you must have got that right.
I did. I was actually the only one I was confident on.
And only 2 got it right. What have I said? Oh no. Oh, I hate punishment rides.
You could have just kept your mouth shut for 2 seconds, Rob.
Alone is third. Six Sandbagger is second. And the winner is... John Rice!
Thank you for the. I'd like to thank the Academy and my parents. That's brought me here today.
Oh, man.
Very proud moment in your life there, John.
Oh,
I don't think I've ever won a Kahoot ever. So
Oh,
I'm gonna put this in the books.
right, okay. Oh, man. I've done all the punishment rides. Do you want to do it nevertheless? Just for fun?
Yeah, what's the punishment ride? What do we got?
Right. I can't see the comments anymore. Because the quiz is there. I can't work out how to get
No one's thrown up any options yet for the punishment ride.
How about
Well, I'm sure.
what category are you in at the moment? What Swift racing score category are you in at the moment?
Zwift racing score is a C. It's like 490, I think I am right now.
Okay. How about choose between these? Either. What is the course next week? Do you know? I should know this Zwift stuff. I should look up Zwift stuff before I do a Zwift podcast. Festival races. Festival. Oh, what? It's just slightly too many days to come up in 3 days. Oh no, it's not festival races anymore, is it? What's it called?
Oh, it's stage 2 of the new routes. It might be breakfast, crits, and grits.
Oh yeah.
Actually.
Oh no, it's gone coastal. Boring. I tell you what, you can do that one. Do that one in B. Do that one in B. It's
Do
flat
that one
most
in
of the
B.
way anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I unfortunately did
or
the B version.
Or do the C ride on a crappy bike like a... What's the worst bike?
Buffalo.
Buffalo bike.
The Buffalo.
Have you got the
I'll
Buffalo?
see
Or
if
you
I
could
have
use
that.
a mountain bike.
Or have you got the
Nah.
the cruiser thing?
I might have that. I'll equip the worst bike. Actually, I
Yeah,
can
don't
pull
spend all
my
your
Zwift
drops to
right
get
now.
the Buffalo because I think it's really expensive.
Just use
Is
the
it?
Zwift rims, whatever the original ones are.
Yeah, use the worst bike you can to do that. Oh, thank you, John, I really do hate doing that, and I wish I hadn't volunteered. So thank you. Well, that
That
has
was
been the best podcast that has ever existed in the history of Zwift podcasts. I didn't expect you to be quite so interested, but you've been doubly so, and you are deservedly the king of Zwift Recons. Thank you, John Rice. Do you have anything you want to say?
no. This has been great. Thank you. I mean, we've been live for over 2 hours, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I think it shows how much passion we all have for this platform and everything. Like, it's the best. So thank you for having me. I'm really grateful to be here today and had a great time.
Your top guy, John Rice III, and thank you, Ben.
No worries. Thanks for having me, as
You
always.
should get some Roman numerals as well. I think you'd see some. Ben Pitt the 7th.
Well, I did have struggles when I was a kid because my dad's B as well, so I always get B Pit, like letters in the mail. So like, oh, I have an up. Oh no, Dad, I think this is for you.
Yeah, just add some Roman numerals. Just on B Pitt the 7th.
I do notice, like in America, they don't really add the second. It's always the third because I think the third sounds a lot better than the second.
Okay.
Yeah, never. Usually the sportsmen are always such and such the third. I never heard a sportsman being such and such a second. Usually it's junior.
Yeah.
Quite often they used to. I'm starting to get anti-American all of a sudden, but they used to say like Queen Elizabeth II. Like, no, it's not like Rocky. It's not like Rocky II. It's not Queen Elizabeth II. It's Queen Elizabeth II. Crying out loud. It's not like Rocky. Oh.
Us Americans, we're always doing something wrong.
Yeah. So I'm sorry to get. I didn't. I love America. It's the greatest nation.
Yeah, go on, Rob. You just bagged out the guest. This is the last second. You could have kept your mouth shut.
I love America. And you used to.
All of my best friends are American.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you
All
both. I'll see you soon. Thank you for joining. I'm sorry I ignored the chat. Bye.
See you, chat.
See you, chat.